Title MMA's got you covered with everything you need to get into MMA like a pro. MMA masters Duke Roufus and Red Schafer take you through the basics of MMA to get you inside the sport and show you what you really need to know. But you'll also get inside secrets and techniques that can only be mastered from years in the cage. Now you can learn from the best and get ready to give it your all with top quality Title MMA products like these. Title's freestyle throwing and grappling dummy, made of incredibly durable triple ply synthetic leather that'll stand up to all the punches, kicks, jabs, takedowns, chokeholds, and ground pounding you can give it, and still come back for more. Professional Thai pads and Twins Muay Thai pads for serious competitors. Imported from Thailand, these rugged, all-leather, overstuffed pads give you the target you need to develop powerful kicking skills. The Grappling Dummy Heavy Bag, the ultimate 2-in-1 training bag, combining the realistic human form with a durable heavy bag. Give it jabs, straight shots, angle punches, hooks, uppercuts, and more to take your training to the next level. The Twins MMA Thai Shield, handcrafted in Thailand. Super shock-absorbing layered cell foam welcomes every offensive blow and strike and begs for more. Perfect for MMA, Muay Thai, and combat training. Title leather 12 and 16-pound medicine balls. Great for explosive training and endurance training. Title super plastic speed ropes. Super lightweight, but ball-bearing fast. Top-quality leather headgear from Title Boxing, Title MMA, and Twins offer you the most protection in your training routine. Title MMA Gel Pro Shin Instep Guards feature our exclusive gel-enforced lining for even greater protection and form fit. Double padding where you need it most. Twins Open Palm Wrist Strap Gloves, designed for training and competition. A full half-inch of padding over knuckles, fingers, and back of the wrist for uninhibited attack. Full leather construction with elastic thumb loop for excellent freedom of movement and security. Title Platinum Body Protector, perfect for working on body shots and lower body techniques. Use in conjunction with punch mitts to simulate actual sparring. The special layered cell foam really takes a pounding. All these and more Title MMA products will have you looking, feeling, and fighting like the warrior you need to be. Let Duke and Red teach you the tricks of the trade that'll have you winning fights in no time. Bigger, better, faster, and stronger with Title MMA. Check out these products and more at TitleMMA.com. Do it now.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Red Schafer. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I've been doing MMA for about 11 years now. I got in the UFC, I'm a UFC veteran. I love grappling. I'm more of the ground fighter. I like to take it down to the ground, use ground and pound, submit the guy with submission holds. It's a little bit different than striking, but you know, it's half the game. Whether you're a striker or a grappler, you know, you need to know your takedowns, you need to know your submissions, offense and defense. I learned my striking with Duke Roufus to round out my game, so if you're more of a striker, you should hopefully these videos help you learn your grappling. Now that we've got it to the ground, either with a takedown, a sprawl, or maybe you knocked the opponent down, now we're going to work from the top position first. We're going to do a little ground and pound, a little grappling, a little submissions, all right? So, first thing I recommend, just in general, even if you're not doing punching, is to get used to wearing gloves. Either the small gloves or these are nice, the MMA sparring gloves. They're a little more padding, so when you do a little ground and pound, you can actually strike a little bit and not hurt your opponent. Get used to the gloves, because if you're going to fight in the ring, you're going to have those gloves. They're a little bit bigger. All your grappling is going to be a little bit adjusted due to the gloves. So you want to get used to them. So either wear the small ones, or if you're doing some ground and pound, wear these nice MMA sparring gloves. A lot of padding so you can hit and not hurt your partner. So we're going to start on the guard first, all right? Very common position. We'll start on the ground in the guard, all right? He's got his legs around me. It's guard's kind of overrated. I'm on top, so I have the advantage in the fact that I have gravity behind me. My striking is to be more powerful than his striking. If he hits up at me, you know, it's not going to feel good, but if I strike down at him, I'm going to do a lot more damage. So I have a better position in that way, but due to his legs, I'm in some trouble. I have to be cautious of submission holds and sweeps. His hips control me, all right? Now, the most important part of being in the guard, it's called posture. Very, very important. The basics of posture, almost like every other position in wrestling, is my back. I can't be bent over. Now, what we call it is, look at my butt. My butt is up in the air and my head is down. I have no power with my hips. Let's say I even did want to strike, I've got no power. My head's so close to him that I'm not going to land any power. Good posture is butt down and head up. This is good posture. Not only for, now you see with the striking, I got a little more room. I could even turn my hips into it, turn those punches over. I got more target area. If I bury my head into his chest, I've got no power. There's no power in here. Even if I hit him right in the head, I've got no hips, I've got no gravity behind my punches. And submission-wise, up here, if he throws up triangles or arm bars, man, there's nothing. My head is back, my hips are back, I'm ready to defend submissions. If I'm in here, yeah, I start getting attacked with submissions and that stuff, I'm in trouble. So posture is good for punching, and posture is also good for submission defense. All right? Now, to get my posture, if you're ever broken down, very basic stuff, we're going to get our posture and then throw some basic strikes, all right? First things first, you always want to be in the inside, and you just want to, if there's any hand on your head, come to the inside, just like before, peel those suckers off, and we're going to work ourselves back. Start on the head or the arms, work ourselves back. If there's hands coming up, we're just going to keep swimming them off. Work back all the way to the hips. Arms to ribs to hips. Once I'm back, he's going to be very hard for him to break me down. So he's going to try to break me back down. If I'm lazy, now I got to do my work again. Work myself back up to good posture. So once I'm here, I want to keep it. Keep him down. I'm underneath his rib cage or on his hips, keeping his hips down. As he tries to reach for my head, I'm posturing up. I don't want to get sucked back down there and work back up. Now we'll do a little kind of the basic ground and pound work, all right? Very simple. We got hands and elbows are pretty much all we can do in the guard here, all right? So the first combination any grappler learns is very simple. Body, body, head. It's very, you'll actually hear people yell it out during UFC matches. Very simple idea. Obviously, he's going to be blocking his head because that's, your head's what matters the most. So what do we have open? Body shots, all right? Now, we've got a good posture. We're going to attack the body. Body, body, head. Get his hands to drop because we're working the body, and what's going to open up is the head, of course, all right? Now, when you're throwing your punches, don't be afraid to get your hips into it. Just don't go arm punches, all right? That's not going to do any damage. Get a little twist in there, and right at the end, I like to do a little wrist flick too, all right? Just that little flick at the end is going to matter a little bit. Get the turn, make him react. If you're just using your arms, you're not going to get him to react. It's not going to hurt him, and you're just wasting your energy. So, very simple. Body, body, head. Watch what he does. He's blocking his head, so work the body, and then when the hands start dropping, you're going up, up high, right to the jaw, all right? You're aiming for the face, you're aiming for the jaw. You can do a lot of damage from the top position, all right? All right? And you can go both sides. Body, body, head. He drops down to block the body. That's when you go high. Always keeping good posture. Body, body, he comes down to block it. Bing, that's where we go up top. Flick that wrist when you're turning over. It's almost like on the feet, you're turning it over right at the end. That will really snap, get a lot more power. All right? Now, we got other options from here too. The hammer fist, very basic. If he's blocking the sides, we can go straight down the pipe with a hammer type fist. Not as powerful, but it's going to open up the side shots. We also have elbows. Got to get a little closer for that, so we're going to lose our posture a little bit. But when you come over with an elbow, even if he's blocking, elbows are very hard, right down the pipe. They're going to cut through that defense, and they cause cuts. You've seen a lot of UFC fights cuts cause, stoppages. So if that's how you want to fight, it's a great option. Cut them open with these hard elbows. All right? Just for one more, this is a very impressive technique. You've seen Gabriel Gonzaga do it in one of his UFC fights. Even though he's got my wrist, I can't punch him, but watch this. I'm just going to turn my elbow over the top, cut right down into his face, all right? So even though he's got my wrist, I can't punch him. Gonna get high and I'm gonna turn that elbow over the top and just snap right over the top. Great ground and pound techniques, all right? You start landing a few of those, your wrists are gonna free to do other stuff, all right? So that's basic ground and pound from the guard. Keep your good posture, turn the punches, and set up, shots. Just don't hit the head exclusively. He's gonna break your posture, break it back down, body, head, elbows. If he's got your wrists, don't be afraid to turn it over the top, bang, right into a nice elbow. A lot of good options from here, all right? All right, guys, we just worked some ground and pound from in the guard. Now we're gonna do it from the standing guard. It's a little bit different. You can actually throw a lot more powerful punches from here. So it's a little bit different though. We'll show you what it's like, all right? Now, we can either get up on our own, or how often do you see this in a fight? Just maybe I knocked him down and we're standing above. I was never even in the closed guard. But let's say we were in the closed guard. If I wanna posture up, get to here, I can put my hands up, jump up to my legs. Now I'm in the standing guard. All right, ready to throw a lot more harder punches from here. Now I got my hips in it. I can throw a lot harder, do a lot more damage. The one thing you got to be careful of is upward kicks are legal in MMA. If I leave my head down here, I can really eat a foot and you can get knocked out very easily if you're just a little bit lazy. When I'm in the guard, my hips are in. I like a little bit of a staggered stance and I come in very safely. I'm not sticking my bad posture again. My face out here, looking for punches. I'm going to eat a foot right to the face, and that's an easy damage, easy knockout. So I come in with my hips strong, all right? Now, I like to control the feet with my hands, all right? Because they can kick me in the legs, they can kick me in the face. Very controlled. Plus, I don't want him to get up. If I'm just standing here, he can squirm all over the place, kick away. By holding his feet, he can't get up. He can't do anything, all right? I got him by the feet. All right, so we got our nice stance. My face is away from him. He can't hit me in the face. Another thing too, even if he can't kick me, I can eat a few punches. They might not damage me, but it's gonna, hurt me a little bit, make me move, and I don't want to. So very nice posture once again, bending at the waist. Now, just basic punches from here, all right? Right over the top. This is the beauty of this shot is I can really get my hips into it. We can go body or head. Really get my hips into some very explosive strikes. All right, work the body, work some lefts, some rights, use the body. Always go back to your position. Land a few, go back to safety, all right? And then you can work up and down. So I can land a few, go down, work a few on the body, posture back up, work a little more from up here. Now, we're landing some good stuff here. You can actually, I've seen guys knock opponents out from the standing guard, all right? But you might have seen this a few times too. I'm gonna use his feet and do a nice guard pass with my punch, all right? So we're landing these type of punches, doing some good stuff. We wanna get out of the guard though. The guard, even if I'm doing good stuff, the legs are still in front of me. They're bugging me. The feet are on my hips. Maybe I throw a few and I'm not getting through, all right? So let's clear these legs. But instead of just clearing them, we're gonna throw a punch in there with it, all right? So we come in, nice posture, staggered stance. Maybe we throw a few, get them working. Now, I'm just gonna step back. I got the foot control, all right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swing those legs off to the side. Very simple. Now, if this was just Jiu Jitsu, he might be able to bring his legs back in front, but as I swing, my right hand is cocked into a nice shot, all right? Now, you've seen guys, Fedor, the number one heavyweight maybe of all time, loves this move. A lot of really good, Joe Riggs, a lot of really good ground and pounders. This can knock a guy out or really damage him. This is an exceptional ground and pound move, all right? So you're in here on the feet, hips in, swing hard and zoom. Really get your hips into it, all right? He's got to worry about this nice right hand coming at him. He can't worry about regarding you. And if he does, he's going to take a nice shot as the legs come back in front of you. Now, you don't want to just be one-dimensional here too. If I always throw to one side, he might get used to that. So we can kind of play a little game too. Trick him out. We can go left, we can go right. Gotta fake him out a little bit. Always be cautious of his own kicks too. You don't wanna get lazy here again. In here, right, left, he doesn't know which way I'm going. Boom, and cross. Now, as I land the punch, right to the jaw, this is a great pass. You're already down, you're gonna come down and do a nice side control. All right, we'll go over to side control a little bit more next, but great way to pass the guard. Because it's MMA. In a jiu-jitsu field, if I wasn't throwing punches, right, he can't block that foot when there's a punch coming at his face. He's gonna have to put his hands up to block that. Now, if you really wanna put a little mustard on it, you can really almost jump into that punch. All right, I'll throw one at the top of his gloves. You know, you can really put a lot of, effort in. It's hard to do without really landing the guy. Now, a good way to do ground and pound is put the focus mitts on. He might, land some shots in here, posture up, work back here, do your ground and pound drills with your partner. All right, put some focus mitts on, or live sparring. As long as this nice big pad, he can take a decent shot. You don't want to kill him, you don't want to knock him out, but just let him know he's getting punched. All right? So with these nice gloves, it's a very safe atmosphere to do a little bit of ground and pound, all right, guys? Now, we've worked some guard work, all right? Now we want to get into side control, all right? We got different passes. We just showed the nice ground and pound guard pass. But anytime we're passing, if we're not really tight, a lot of times as you're passing, they'll turtle up. By turtle up, instead of facing you, they'll go to their knees and defend, all right? A lot of wrestlers don't like to be on their back. They're very good at fighting from their knees. So I'll show you what happens right here, all right? We're going to show you some ways to beat this, all right? So if I'm passing, and it's very loose, all right? We'll do the pass we just did, the ground and pound guard pass. So as I come by and I don't quite control yet, a lot of times they'll turn over to their knees, all right? It's called turtle position, obviously. Kind of very defensive. It's very hard to get some good strikes in there, all right? He's not facing you. Back of the head is an illegal strike. It's hard to find shots in here, all right? This turtle, very defensive. A lot of judo guys like this because they're not getting pinned. Wrestlers, they don't like to be on their back, all right? But whether I use the back or not, I'm gonna make this guy pay, all right? So, turtle position. You can see it's very hard to hit, You don't want to waste your energy either. You just want to start hitting the hands. It's got a long match maybe, all right? So the basic way I like to ride right here is kind of at a 45-degree angle. I don't want to be sideways. He can grab my legs, all right, if I'm too much in front of him, and then we got to work from there. I don't want to be right behind him either. I'm in danger of some other stuff, knee bars or other options. So I like kind of be 45 degrees. And underhooks rule. I can ride on the underhook and grab his forearm here, or I can ride on the underhook. Instead of the forearm, I can ride inside the leg right here also. Holding him down, making sure he's not spinning around. I'm going to keep him here for a little bit. Now, there's a great position you're seeing a lot more in MMA. It's called the crucifix, all right? What I'm going to do, because he's so defensive here, I'm going to take one of his arms out of the picture, all right, and land some really good ground and pound, all right? So we have our nice position, either inside or on the leg, working a little bit. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna trick him a little bit, all right? I'm gonna feed him this leg. And when a wrestler sees this, or any grappler, it's hard to resist that. That's an option. That's something you can grab onto, maybe try to throw you over. But that was all a trick, all right? And even me, when I first started doing this, it's hard to resist that leg sitting there, especially when you're in this position. All right, so I'll go back a little bit. You land a few strikes, he's looking for a way out. He wants to take it. He can't resist it, all right? So right from here, as he grabs it, I'm gonna bring it back, all right? And I'm gonna lock my feet in almost like a triangle position, all right, guys? Let me show you on this side. All right, you want to spin this way, coach? When he grabs it, I'm going to bring it back and behind my leg right here. You can either triangle it all the way or almost on your calf. It's a very tight lock. All right? Now look what we did. We took away one of his arms, and now I have a free arm. So with this far hand, I'll control the inside leg. Now look, I've got one arm locked up. I got a free hand. This is as good as it gets, all right? We got a complete side of the head free. We can throw some nice hooks. If he turns his head this way to avoid, you know, there's the back of the head, hammer strike to the top of the head. Great ground and pound, and he's very tough to get out of this, all right? I got my legs pinched. Sometimes if you have a nice triangle, it's almost too big of a hole, so I like to pinch my knees together, lock more on my ankle, all right? Great hooks. Now these are gonna do some devastating stuff. You might be able to finish them from here. Got the inside of the leg, arm locked here, so I got one free hand, no defense on the head. Hooks, he turns it, you don't wanna hit the back of the head. You can hammer fist this side. You also got some elbows if you wanna land. Make sure you avoid the back of the head, of course. You know, elbows here, punches, work the body, whatever you wanna do. It's a great position to ground and pound, all right? One more time, a little bit different angle. Should we face the camera, coach? This way. All right, so we got the great back position. All right, he turtled up to avoid me getting side control. So I'm gonna feed him that leg, and he's probably gonna take it, all right? I'm gonna bring my leg back right into it like a leg lock position, tightening it up, all right? Now this hand, holding the forearm here, one hand to do whatever I want. Crucifix position. You see where sometimes too, we might roll over and you'll see why it's a crucifix, all right? Let's say we roll over. Now, he's in that type of position. He looks like he's, you know, on a cross, very dangerous position. Big Daddy Goodrich made a very famous fight here with elbows, all right? Same situation. Everything's locked up, I got a free hand. So if you roll over, still the same position. Very good position to knock him out, get a referee stoppage. Now we're gonna go over the side control. It's a great position, very easy to use, very hard to get rolled from. It's a good position. There's not a lot of offense, but it's a great position to kind of hold, do a little bit of damage before you go on to some more advanced stuff, all right? So, however we pass the guard, we showed one earlier, we're gonna get to side control this time. Instead of him turtling, we did the Fedor guard pass. As I come down on him, let's turn this way. The best way to hold a guy in side control in the no-gi is, we call it head and arm. Very simple. I'm gonna be under the far arm and under the head, all right? And I'm locking my hands together here, all right? Very important to have this. If I do not have this far arm, it becomes a headlock, and a headlock is a very overused move, very bad actually. With a little effort, he can pop his head out and he has my back and I'm exposing it. I need to stay under this far arm, all right? Under here and under his head, all right? Now, a very, very important part of side control is I'm not just gonna hold him here. See my shoulder right here, right by his jaw? I'm gonna drive that shoulder into his face, all right? I'm gonna make it very uncomfortable for him. I don't want him to squirm. As soon as your face gets turned like that, and I'm driving back this way, you can't move much. When your head's very free, see how he can move around, squirm around, and actually he wants to face me. So instead of letting him face me, put my shoulder into his chin, now he's facing that way. To have his body turn, it's very unnatural, very uncomfortable, all right? Great side control, all right? Now, a few things with the legs. There's different options you can do. One of the wrong things you don't want to do is have your butt up very high, all right? Having your butt up high just means my weight's not on him, all right? So I'm going to be a little nicer on the head, but you always have that shoulder. But if my butt's up in the air like this, my weight's not on him. He can squirm in there. I'm giving a lot of room, all right? We need to lower ourselves, all right? So we can drop one of our two legs back. We can either drop this leg back, and you see my weight go down, all right? None of that. My side of my ribs are driving right in the side of his ribs. Very tight control, all right? My butt's up in the air. It's very loose. I don't even feel any touch with him right now. Barely. I'm kind of floating on top of him. Drop that leg down, all right? Now, if I want to go this way, my high leg here, I like to kind of get that under his arm. Now his arm's locked, my shoulder's in his chin, and he's very tightly held. He can't turn into me at all. I've got him completely turned. If he wants to go that way, we can force him into that turtle position if I want, or I can just keep holding him. I got his underhook heel, he'll never turn away. The other option is if I want to, I can drop the near leg also. The benefit of this is it keeps it a little tighter on the hip in case this guy's a very good regarder. All right, so as long as I drop one of the two, I'm fine, all right? So my butt's up in the air, not very good. Shoot one back, or shoot the other one back, depending on how good this guy moves. So if I shoot this one back, notice it's under his arm, drive that shoulder into his chin, nice hard position. Now from here, we can come out a little bit, throw some elbows, throw some punches, go back to control, all right? If he's bucking around, control. After he's kind of settled down a little bit, work your ground and pound a little bit, then go back to control, all right? You don't want to get too loose. And we also, another thing we got here too is knees. We can knee the body. You can't knee the head in MMA, but you can knee the body. So from here, we can knee either leg, right to the inside of the rib cage. It'll definitely do a lot of damage to him, all right? Take his wind, maybe break a rib even, all right? So we got elbows, punches, we got some good side control. Not a lot of knockout potential, but we can definitely hurt him here before we go on to the mount later. We've shown the side control a little bit. It's a great position. Not a lot of offense. There's a few submissions, and I'm going to show one of my favorite ones. The beauty of side control is it's very low risk. I can go for these submissions. If I don't get them, I'm still in side control. I don't get bucked off of side control very easily. So one of my favorite moves is called the side choke, also called the bicep choke or the arm triangle. It's a very good move. I've used it in one of my UFC fights, a different variation, but it's the same choke when you really get down to it, all right? Side control, all right? We were just there. We know how to do it, right? We make sure we have the far side underhook and head and arm, all right? Under here, driving my shoulder into his face, all right? Now, as you can see, we have his elbow up here a little bit, just naturally, because I have this here. And if it's not there, maybe I throw a few punches and he's gonna bring his head up, or his arm up to block. So, anytime I see his arm not on his side, I have an opportunity for a side choke, all right? So I'm in here, grinding into him, landing some punches first. He's kind of bringing his hands up. What I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna push his arm, and I'm gonna put my head, glue it to the ground right next to his arm. So as I'm in here fighting, I'm gonna bring my head down, push it, and literally glue my head to the ground, keeping it tight against him. I'm using my head as almost like an arm. I'm not just putting it down, I'm holding his arm next to his neck here, all right? Once I have this, it's actually very easy to finish from here. This arm is already under the head, waiting for me, all right? Now, I'm just gonna switch my hips, push on the leg, and go to the mount, and then I can continue to work my head up, all right? Always pinching sideways, all right? I'm actually trying to get my side of my head to the side of his head, all right? We can change a little bit of a direction here and see it, show it again. So I'm here, I'm pushing, we're putting my head right down to the mat. Once it's glued there, it's very hard for him to get his arm back out. So we push, drop my head to the mat, all right? Work it hard, push the leg, and I'm just gonna step over into the mount, all right? Now you notice, my head's worming its way up very inch by inch by inch. Always tight, trying to go sideways, head to head. All right? Now, to get the finish, I'm just gonna lock my hands in an S grip. All right? This is kind of my safety position. Keep my head tight to his head. I'm gonna hop another time all the way over to the other side. All right? Now, this is where the finish comes in. I'm gonna drive forward, driving my right shoulder into the one side of his neck, and his own arm is gonna choke out the other side of his neck. So, we're side to side here. I'm gonna drive forward into him and choke him out. I'm putting a lot of shoulder pressure onto one side of the artery vein system. His own arm is pinching the other side. So he's getting choked by his own arm, half of it, my arm with the other half. All right, and in my first UFC fight, I choked my guy out in just a few seconds. It's a very tight choke if you do it right. I'm driving my shoulder into his neck, all right? And that takes a little bit of skill. Got to get used to that little bit of a squeeze you might not be used to yet. All right? The beauty of this is there's no risk. All right? If I don't get it, he wiggles his arm out, I just let it go. I'm still in side control. All right? So we got the under, nice lock, shoulder into his chin, make him look away. All right, throw some punches. Elbows up. I'm gonna push it, glue my head to the mat. All right, keep this under his head. Cross over into the mount, warm it up a little bit more. Try to get my head next to his head. All right, lock my hands in this S grip. Now hop over to the other side. Now I'm just gonna rotate all my weight forward, driving my shoulder into his neck. All right, side choke. It's getting his own arm and my arm are doing the work on each side. He's gonna pass out from a blood choke if he doesn't tap out. All right, very good choke, one of my favorites. All right, guys, we've been working some side control stuff. We got chokes, we got a little bit of ground and pound. Now we want to get a little more aggressive. We're going to go to the mount position. Kind of an overrated position if you don't know it well, but it's a great position to land some of the most brutal stuff you can if you get good at it. All right, so we need to get from side to the mount first. All right, now showing what we've already shown, it's a very easy transition. All right, so let's go to side control where we just were. We've done some ground and pound already. Maybe we've tried that the side choke. All right, it's not working. He's just very tight defense. We want to get a little more aggressive. All right, now it all starts based on where I just was. All right, under the head, under the far arm, and shoulder right into his neck. This is the most important part of this. All right, I need to control his head, make him very uncomfortable here. All right, I'm just driving this way. I want him to look away. I don't want him to look into me at all. All right, so now I had that leg drop. I'm gonna bring my weight up just for a second. All right, the one thing we weren't supposed to do, but we have to pop our weight up just for a second. And now this knee is gonna come up and just skim right over on top of his stomach here. All right, now I'm actually being a little nice here, but you gotta keep this pressure the whole time, driving forward. You can even put your head down if you want, completely driving his chin that way. So I'm here. This leg came up and is right along his stomach, very, very low to the ground. All right, and I'm just driving it until it hits the ground. All right, his head, upper body is completely immobilized by my shoulder. All right, once that knee hits the ground, it's gonna flick out. Very easy to do. Right into my mount position. All right, we'll go over details a little bit more. But the key to this one is that head and arm, shoulder and the jaw immobilization. If you don't get that, he can buck you over and be really tough to control, all right? So, under the arm, here, under here, shoulder, driving in. I can even put my head on the mat. I kind of like to use my head as another point of balance. Drive forward. This knee comes right over the stomach. There's no way for him, if I go over the top, he can catch me in a guard. You know, all those can wrap my leg up. If I come in here, there's no way for him to guard my leg. So I'm going through the inside of his legs instead of going over the top. It's a lot better. There's no way he can guard you from here, all right? So we're here, head down to the ground, knee. Trying to stay as low as I can. Knee drives right across his abs, right to the ground. My head's on the ground here. If I need to bounce, I'm fine also. Leg flicks out, and then I hook right into my mount. Great way to get this from side control to the mount, all right? The key is stay low and keep that pressure right on his chin. Any height, your butt gets up in the air, or I'm just loose on his head, he'll push you over. You don't want to get too high. He can shove you over that way. Your just butt's too high. I'll show you what can happen if I'm a little too loose, all right? Let's move this way a little bit. If I don't have control here and my butt gets really high, I go over. And that's horrible, right? I went from top position to on my back, and I'm in side control. So stay low as possible. That shin goes right across the abs, knee to the ground. There's never any space in between there. All right? And of course, keep that shoulder in the jaw. All right? One more time at full speed. Shoulder into his neck, over the top, head down, knee down, flick out, reset. I'm in the mountain, ready to do some damage. Now we're in the mount. Arguably the best position in MMA. The one problem with it is very easy to get bucked off, all right? You're literally sitting on top of him. So if he bucks you very hard, you can get rolled off. So you gotta have a very, very technical mount to not get bucked over. The benefits of the striking sometimes are overweighed because you get bucked over so easily. So let's go over some ways to not get bucked off, all right? So we finally get to the mount. We went past the guard, side control, knee over, mount position, all right? I'm literally sitting on him, all right? Now, the one way I can get bucked off is when we call it oompa in Jiu Jitsu. He's gonna put his feet under him, he's gonna buck me, all right? He's gonna send me flying, all right? Now, just basic physics, where his lever is, if I sit right on his hips, right in the center here, when he bucks me, watch me fly. You know, I go very far. His hips, when he bucks up in the air, you see his hips go that high. So if I'm sitting right on those hips, I'm gonna go flying. There's two safe mounts, all right? One is very defensive and one's very aggressive, all right? So as soon as I get to a mount, the first mount I like to go to, I call it either grapevines or I call it the Superman mount. I'll show you why. I don't like to sit here, all right? Especially when you first get the mount, this guy's gonna try to buck you off, all right? So I need to put my hands down and I'm gonna shoot my legs deep here. You see my hips go in, all right? This leg is actually gonna penetrate so far deep that I can rehook the far leg, all right? So I got almost double hooks here. This is called the grapevine leg ride, all right? Got his legs grapevine. I got both sides actually. And now look at my hips. My hips are in. I'm actually floating. This is why I call it the Superman. I'm putting a lot of pressure right into his stomach, all right? Now if I have a cup on, it actually can hurt the guy. It's such a difficult position. This is your safe mount. By locking his legs up, he can't oompa me at all. He can't buck at all. And if he does, just try it all. He doesn't go far, yeah. I got his legs locked, hands out. I'm not gonna get rolled at all here, all right? What sucks about this position though, is my strikes are not very effective. You know, I can land kind of that hook. It's kind of like the bad posture in the guard. I can't really do much here, all right? But it's a great position to kind of sit for a little bit. Elbows are okay, punches not so good, but at least I'm not getting rolled. So after he kind of calms down a little bit, we're gonna get a little more aggressive, all right? Now, that's the thing. He really moves around. As soon as he's done moving, I'm squished all life out of him. Now, we're gonna progress up the body. We gotta get a little more aggressive, land some good stuff, all right? So, as I move up the body, I can't stop in the middle. That's the worst spot. The middle is the worst spot. He's gonna buck me off. So, I need to keep going. So, as I progress up the body, I'm gonna move these arms and move up the body and pinch my legs together. Now, look, the higher I get, now try to oompa me. See how I don't move? I'm past his fulcrum. You know, the fulcrum's down here. His hips are moving out here. I'm fine. I'm sitting right on the point that doesn't move. So as he tries to buck you, you might move a little bit, but not the same as if I was back there. When you see people get rolled, it's because they get lazy and they sit here and they try to hit, and there I go. All right? So as I progress, now his elbows are gonna be in the way. That's the one problem. So as I come up, I gotta peel those elbows up. Progressing, it might take a few times to get this high. You might move up here, and here, and here, and here, continuing to pinch. Once I do get the mount, pinch very tight. Now you see the damage I can do. Great position, maybe the best position in MMA. His face is facing me, so he's looking right at me. I can hook, straight punches, elbows, best ground and pound in the business. But you don't want to get lazy. If he starts to push you back down and you continue to hit, there I go again. So the key of the mount is to either be safe or aggressive, and you're going to transition back and forth. All right, I got the grapevines in here, landing some stuff, get a little more aggressive, pop his legs up, pinch here. He's getting a little squirmy again, moves me back. I switch back to the grapevines. Never do I stop and get lazy right in the middle. If I do, I'll get bucked off. All right, and that's what you see in the UFC a lot is the guy just sits here, wants to hurt him, gets a little lazy with the hips. I sit right on his hips and I go flying. All right, now just for fun, we'll show one more submission here. The one we just did from side control. Very easy to do it from here also. Now, we're up here, we're doing some ground and pound. Once again, I see that elbow come up because I'm throwing some good strikes. I'm gonna put my head to the ground just like before. Drive my head straight down to the mat, just like on the other side choke. Now, I'm already in the mount, so I kind of skipped a half a step here. I'm gonna come under the head, under here, I'm just showing you. Keep my head tight, lock my hands in that S grip. We'll turn this way a little bit more. All right, now I'm just gonna hop the side control, and I just kind of skip one stage. Roll forward, and choke them out. We got a great side choke. I can do it from the side control, mount, all sorts of positions. So this choke is very good for different positions. So, one more time. Let's move this way a little bit, coach. We got the mount. Working it. Remember, I'm keeping it in here. That elbow comes up. Put my head down to the mat. Underhook the head. Grab my hands. Now I'm ready to hop the side control. Head side to side. I'm going to drive my shoulder into his neck. And there's the tap. All right, mount. If you know how to do a mount, it's a great position. If you're not very good at it, you're going to get bucked off. So a lot of practice there to be that good at it.